Yes. Okay. Yeah.
This isn't about long-distance calling, technology, or living overseas.
Do I have one more bid? Thank you.
We're going to go once. We're going twice.
And we are sold to the Kiwi phone bidder from Manchester.
It's about Bailey's finding buyers that others can't.
No time to fluff around today? No worries. Just swing into Caltex and pay for fuel with Pay and App to speed on through. Ooh, yeah. Feels good. Use it at your local participating Caltex.
No mai, hari mai, piki mai, kaki mai. Welcome to West Wave in Henderson in Auckland for the New Zealand Intermediate and Secondary Schools Diving Championship. Looking forward to having your company across Whakata Māori. Today on the program, we bring you the platform. Looking forward to this, certainly the most exciting form of the sport. Yesterday, we did have the springboard competition, and I can tell you after that round of competition, it is Albany Junior High School leading over Onslow College, followed by Otago Boys High. So 25 schools in all, representing Auckland, Hamilton, Wellington and Dunedin. Mark Watson's my name, and throughout the day we will have Commonwealth Games representative Liam Stone bringing us all the expert comments. Liam is standing by poolside with some of our competitors.
Okay, so we're here with some of our competitors from the intermediate competition, just wrapping up. And so Charlotte Wilson's here. How do you like competing at a schools competition versus what you're normally used to maybe for your club?
Well, in the schools competition, it's a little bit more relaxed than like some of the other competitions, and I love competing for my school. And for the other competitions, it's a little bit more competitive and a little bit more nerve-wracking.
Yeah, good. So some good experience to take for the future. Tweenie, so I understand you guys had a bit of a camp, a training camp before this. What did you sort of learn there, and did that help at all for today's event?
Well, it was good, like, to dive with the other people, and like everyone was supporting each other, and like it was good to learn new dives in that.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Cool. And Jade, so you like to dive both springboard and platform. Do you have a preference, and tell us sort of the difference between the two?
Yeah, I prefer springboard because I feel like I can get like more flips off the board, and I feel more comfortable since it seems lower down, but you can also get height when you're like jumping on it. And yeah, I just prefer it over the platform, but I like both.
Nice. Yeah, platform can get pretty high, can't it? Lexi, so do you have any big diving goals, aspirations for the future? Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, I quite would like to like compete in like ripping New Zealand in the Olympics or like Commonwealth Games or something, because I feel like that would be really fun, meeting new people and, you know, ripping your country that you're born on.
It'd be pretty special, wouldn't it? Well, we'd love to see all of you guys do that maybe one day. Well, thank you, girls, and good luck for the rest of the competition, and next year hopefully we'll see you at the secondary schools event.
Yeah, thank you to Liam too, who will bring you all the expert comments and hopefully just break this sport down for you, because it is exciting. There are just so many different facets to it. So just explaining for you, you'll see the diver's name come up. You'll see a degree of difficulty on the dive. And from what we saw yesterday, that'll range from, say, an easier degree of difficulty, say a 1.4, and we might see them go perhaps as high as a 3. There are 5 judges. The judges will score each diver on the dive. They will not factor in the degree of difficulty, just purely on the dive. The higher score and the lower score from each of the 5 judges will be taken away, leaving just 3 judges' scores. Those scores will then be accumulated and then multiplied by the degree of difficulty. But the divers do need to identify and let the judges know what their dives will be prior to the competition starting, so they cannot sort of have a look at the overall placings and then towards the end of the competition say, you know what, I think I'll roll the dice. I think we'll look for a higher degree of difficulty and see if I can move my way up the leaderboard. Now the introduction of the athletes. As I said, 25 schools represented in all. Liston College, Rangatai, Hamilton Girls High School, Wellington Girls High School, Cambridge, Western Springs, Maclean's, Logan Park, just to name a few. Columba College out of Dunedin as well.
From Rangitoto College, Cody Bach. And from Bayfield High School, Archie Volgan. In the girls 14 and under platform, from Wellington East Girls College, Lucy Nair. From Wellington Girls College, Agatha Salanza. From Albany Junior High School, Riley Oxenham. From Albany Junior High School, Olivia Fox. From Takapuna Grammar, Rosie Ward. From Westlake Girls High School, Yana Fedorova. From Westlake Girls High School, Grace Young. From Westlake Girls High School, Melody Choi. Drivers Mark.
And Albany Junior High School, very much the school that leads overall. Very good program indeed. In fact, it is the almanata of Liam Stone, the man who joins me in commentary, who represented New Zealand at the Commonwealth Games. Liam, let's just quickly run through the format. So it is the platform today. We've got 7.5 metres. We've got a 10-metre platform. How many dives, and can they switch between the 2 different heights?
Yeah, so we'll see for the 14-year-old category, we'll see 6 dives. And as you said, they can choose from the 5 metre, the 7.5 metre, or the 10 metre. There will be dives performed from a range of 6 different categories. However, they don't have to cover all of them.
And so when you talk about categories, you're talking about perhaps leaving the platform with their back facing the pool, or perhaps traditionally just diving forward.
That's right, yeah. So there's...
I've even seen athletes in their warm-up doing handstands up there.
Yeah, so, you know, yesterday we had the springboard, and obviously we wouldn't be doing a handstand on the springboard, but today we're on the platform, so that's the 6th category that we'll see, which is, as you say, the handstand dive. So there's, you know, we've got forward dives, we've got backward dives, we've got what's called reverse dive, which is where you're sort of rotating backwards, jumping forwards, inward, rotating forwards, jumping backwards, anything with a twist, and then with your handstand as well. So we'll see a range of dives. We'll see some easier dives and some more difficult dives.
And now, key things that the judges are looking for, particularly nice, clean entry, what I call streamlined position, looking for that vertical, not too much splash. Toes need to be pointed.
Yeah, they're looking for the overall impression. Toes are key. But they want the diver to be jumping high. They want the dive to sort of look easy. They want nice form in the air. They don't want the diver to be too far away from the platform. Of course, not too close either, but just a safe distance. And as you say, sort of that vertical line on the water, so perpendicular to the water. And then, of course, ideally with no splash as well.
And so our divers just going through any sort of pre-competition protocols. They've been warming up here for a decent period of time, and now it's more about the psychology, getting final instructions from their coaches. This, of course, was the venue for the 1990 Commonwealth Games, where diving was a big part of the program. West Wave in Henderson. If you are watching in the Auckland region, greater region, and you want to come down and just watch something different, watch some remarkable athleticism, have a look at just how high the 10-metre platform is, please do come on down. We'd love to have your company and watch the future generation of divers in action. And there it is.
It's a long way down.
Yeah, we were going to send our director, Chucky, up there just for a bit of a... he was going to throw himself off it just so we could practice our call, but also just give you an idea of... I think it would contrast how courageous these young athletes are, because I think most grown men, most people who think they've got some courage would be maybe just a little bit skittish up there.
Re-announcing the judges for this event. Judge 1, Denise Martin. Judge 2,
So 5 judges.
Judge 3, Alison
Top score and the bottom score
and Judge 5,
from the 5 judges will be removed, and it'll be the 3 scores in the middle that they will then accumulate, and then they will multiply that by the degree of difficulty. And as we said, each diver has 6 dives, and then we do just run through that year 7, year 8 platform. So Charlotte Wilson there will lead things off. Of course, we've got a very strong boys side of the competition as well. So when you first take up the sport of diving, Liam, how long before you start going off the 10 metre? I mean, I'd imagine that's sort of got to be a bit of a natural progression over a period of time. Few people are just going to go up there and throw themselves off it, are they?
Yeah, no, it definitely is a progression. You wouldn't just go straight up.
My little son would, but he would just throw himself off it.
And it's very case by case, if you like, because you know, some kids are a lot more brave and courageous than others. You know, for me, it took me a long time, actually, a long time. But, you know, naturally kids would come in, we'd teach them the correct technique and you know, start on the 1 metre and progressively go up 3, 5, 7 and eventually to the 10, provided that the coach feels it's safe to do so.
This is what I like too. It's a small community, tight-knit community, and yes, representing different schools, but still coming together as one. As we see our first diver. And this is Lexi Findlater from North Cross Intermediate. So high degree of difficulty first up off the 5 metre platform. In fact, that degree of difficulty. In fact, it's Daniel Farrelly Grace. My apologies. So degree of difficulty of 1.3. So we just want to get this one right first up. Good start from Farrelly Grace to get this competition underway.
Yeah, good start from Daniel. Forward dive pike, nice and simple, and he's performed it well. The judges have given him 7s, which is good. Nice high jump, beautiful vertical line, a little bit of splash there, but not too bad at all. You'll see the divers will also have a range of positions they can do the dives in.
Now Ross Miller from Onslow College, another school out of Wellington with a good diving program. Again, not a high degree of difficulty at 1.5, but just want to put a good solid number on the board early and then look to build.
That's pretty nice from Ross. So that's the inward direction we were talking about earlier, where you're jumping backwards and rotating forwards. And the pike position, an inward dive pike, and Ross has performed that very well, getting an 8 there from the judges.
And now Kobe Fox medalled yesterday in the springboard from Rangitoto College. So slightly higher degree of difficulty at 1.7. Just a little bit short on the entry.
Yeah, just ran out of room a little bit. He was a little bit far away from the board as well, so you'll see in the replay he's travelling towards us as he, instead of jumping up, just jumping forwards there. And just lands slightly shorter vertical, so we were explaining earlier that the diver wants to be vertical on the water, perpendicular to the water. Anything sort of short of that or under rotated or over rotated, the judges will deduct for.
So 2 6s and a 6.5, and now Archie Vorges 1.3. So again, not a high degree of difficulty at all. So he needs to get this right.
So
just over rotates a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit over rotated. You'll see on the replay on the takeoff, he's dropped his head down, and that's created too much rotation. So his legs go flying over there and just kicks up a bit of
over
splash.
rotation in layman's terms, if the legs are not perpendicular, they tend to be forward of the body, away from the board.
That's right. Yeah. So you'll see they.
Now Lucy Neer, a lot to like about this young lady out of Wellington East Girls College. Again, not a high degree of difficulty at 1.3. And a really nice dive from her. Lovely dive from Lucy, as we would expect.
Yeah, Lucy's very talented, certainly one to watch for the future, and you can see in her form that her technique is very nice. Bit of a range of scores there from the judges. Some will be rewarding them, more for certain things than others. She was slightly over-rotated with a bit of splash.
Now Agatha Solanas from Wellington Girls College. Okay, 1.3, so really wants to execute this. It's a good dive from Agatha.
Yeah, very nice. Even getting a 9 there from the judges. So Agatha, she was nice and close to the platform. She was vertical on the entry, tiny bit of splash, but it was pretty clean. The judges are marking the dive out of 10.
Yeah, and that 9 highest score will be removed as we go now to Riley Oxenham from Albany Junior High School. And good dive from Riley too. Nice entry, not a lot of white water, not a lot of splash.
Yeah, good start from Riley. Again, showing us the inward dive, pike. Most of the dives we've seen so far are in the pike position, so the judges want to see straight legs, pointed toes, ideally the sort of the chest touching the legs as well, folding in half. And Riley did a pretty good job of that. We've got our first dive from way up on the 10 metre.
So Olivia Fox, so 1.6. Nice and composed, on her way.
Pretty good start from Olivia. It's a long way down, obviously, and we'll see plenty of more divers going off 10. Bit of a mixed scores there. It was nice through the air. The judges may have wanted to see her jump a bit higher, and you'll see beautiful pike position, just a bit of splash there, so some of the judges would have deducted for that.
Now Roisin Ward from Takapuna Grammar. It's a nice start to get things underway for Ward.
Yeah, nice start. Nice lines, as we talk about in diving. So that means, sort of straight legs, no bend in the hips on the entry, nice pointed toes, and that's exactly what's required to go through the water with no splash.
Jana Fedorova from Westlake. A name, good solid first up dive at a 1.3 degree of difficulty.
7.5, 6.5, 7, 6.5.
And you'll see there, Jana just could have jumped a bit higher for me, and just a bit of splash there on the entry. Just why she didn't receive quite as high marks as the one before.
Now, Grace Young, okay, not a high degree at 1.3, wants to get this right. Keep an eye on the entry.
Yeah, so similar to the previous round, diver, Grace was, solid, but jumping quite far away from the platform. And you just see on the entry as she hits the water now, her legs go over and they sort of splash the water with the backs of her legs.
Over rotation.
Over rotation, that's right.
Okay, so Melody Choi now from Westlake. Good first up from Choi. Almost lost it, but it'll be interesting to see how the judges reward her for that entry.
takes a considerable amount of core strength and stability to be able to sort of hold that vertical, so that position there.
To fight gravity.
That's it. And when you hit the water, there's a lot of impact, and it requires a lot of strength not to lose the legs there.
And that strength work, that comes in time in the sport as they mature physically, as they spend more supplementary work, that'll just naturally come.
That's right.
Daniel Farrelly Grace from Maclean's College.
Beautiful entry. That's what we call a rip entry in diving. So you sort of rip through the water, no splash, and the judges will reward that. The reason they've still only gone 7, 6.5 is because Daniel was quite far away from the platform, and you'll see his feet are flexed. So unfortunately, the judges have to deduct their marks for that as well. So he's travelling backwards a little bit too far, but that entry was superb.
And now, second round for Ross Miller of Onslow College. So going up a slight increase in difficulty at 1.7. And he just slaps that water on the entry, but a lot to like about that dive.
Yeah, good from Ross. Forward 1.5 pike, so we've seen lots of front dives. Ross has got to fit in 1.5 somersaults, so he's off the platform there. He's got 1 somersault, half to go, and fits it in nicely.
And now Kobe Fox.
So that's the first dive I believe we've seen in the backwards category. So we've seen plenty of forwards. This is a demonstration of backwards dive tuck, and it was a nice jump from Kobe. See, really high. Unfortunately, he landed shorter vertical, so he was under-rotated. So you'll see here
to see him there just on that diagonal entering the water, wasn't he? Those
That's
legs
right.
facing back towards the platform. And now Archie Vorges, Bayfield High School.
So a pretty solid dive from Archie, an inward dive pike. You'll notice in the replay that he had beautiful pointed toes, but he had a bit of knee bend, so it was hard to see from this angle, but his knees were just slightly bent, so the judges will deduct for that.
Nice and tight in the tuck here, look at that.
See a little bit of knee bend there.
But just again threw those legs out, didn't it? And now Lucy Neer of Wellington East Girls College, real star of the future, getting that balance. What can she deliver?
Well, this will be interesting to see what the judges do, because it was a beautiful dive, but you may have noticed she was quite twisted on the entry. So
almost came in sideways, didn't she? And that's reflected in that score. So that 3 will be taken away. The 5.5 will be taken away. And not her best dive.
Yeah, you see she's almost... So if the diver twists more than 90 degrees, it's actually a failed dive. And Lucy was actually close to that.
Yeah.
Everything else was great.
Just fighting gravity, wasn't she? So now Agatha Salinas just looking to build on a very good first up dive. What can the youngster do? Oh, good dive too, so showing some real consistency.
Yeah, nice from Agatha. She showing us inward dive tuck. So as I said, the divers have a range of positions they can do the dive in. Tuck has a bent leg, sort of a cannonball position, and she does a good job of that coming off the platform. Nice high jump, tuck position, kicks out straight, nice and vertical, pretty good dive.
Now Riley Oxenham, part of this powerhouse of a diving school, Albany Junior High School. Good first up dive. Can she match that? Put pressure on the rest of this field early in this competition. Oh, another good dive too from Riley.
Yeah, beautiful in the air. She's got great form, showing us a really nice pike position with straight legs, pointed toes. She folded in half, her chest was touching her shins. Just unfortunate about the entry, is kicking up a bit of splash, but everything else was nice. See there, beautiful pike position.
And now Olivia Fox.
So we saw her do the same dive off 10 metre, now showing it off 7 metre. The divers are allowed to repeat dive so long as it's off a different board.
Similar entry though, wasn't it? Still very sort of heavy on that landing.
Yeah,
you could sort of hear her hitting the water, and that's what we saw from her previous. So clearly trying to make that shift, trying to make that adjustment, but just couldn't quite pull it off.
That's right. It's good off the board. Nice pike position. She comes from a gymnastics background. Just doesn't quite get that entry, but.
And now Roisin Ward, Takapuna Grammar. What to like about Roisin.
Yes, solid from Roisin. You just notice in the air, we'll see on the replay, her pike position. She had straight legs, pointed toes, which was good, but it was a little bit open, which means her chest sort of wasn't touching her shins. Slightly difficult to see from there. And then that resulted in her just being slightly under-rotated. So you just see there, a bit of daylight between the two. Just her legs going short of vertical.
Jana Fedorova. Second dive. That's better. That's good from Jana. Again, slightly under-rotated on the entry.
Yeah, nice from Jana. You know, she had good technique. Nice lines, as you said, just slightly under-rotated from vertical. Could have jumped a bit higher off the platform as well.
It's amazing though, isn't it? It's like you get one component of this wrong and that just flows into the next component of it. And it's like a puzzle.
Oh, yes.
Get one piece out of place and it's very, very hard to pull it back and correct it. So Grace Young from Westlake Girls High School. And good dive too from Young. That's a better second round attempt from her.
Nice from Grace. She was travelling quite far forward from the end of the board, so sort of diving out into the middle of the pool, which the judges will deduct points for. She was good vertical on the entry there, which was nice, and the judges will reward for that.
So Melody Choi, okay, not a high degree of difficulty, want to execute this. A lot of visualization.
And that's nice from Melody. So an inward dive tuck, and she's showing us how easy it is for her by doing what we call a pike out. So sometimes the divers would do a dive and tuck, and they will pike there like she does then, and then straighten out. It's not a requirement, but some divers just choose to do it, showing their skill. Tuck, little pike out and then straighten out. And the judges will reward for that because it shows how easy it is for her.
Now Daniel Faraday Grace, third round jump, 1.6. So diving very much within himself. A good dive, slight over-rotation on entry, but a lot to like about it.
Yeah, a lot to like. I was talking about the pike out. It's sort of, especially in these, as you get 1.5 somersaults and more, the diver, if they've got time, they will straighten their legs so they can sort of have a quick look at the water there and then line up. And he's done a great job of that. Look at, he's got amazing entries, Daniel. So he just has a look at the water, grabs his hands. Pretty good.
And now, very talented Ross Miller. Very, very focused young man. Much higher degree of difficulty at 2.1. This should be spectacular.
This will be the first twisting dive we've seen in the event so far.
Can he bring it together? Can he get that entry right?
Yeah, so not quite for Ross. Just didn't quite get that vertical entry, and you may have noticed through the water his back bent a little bit. There's such high impact when they hit the water. Had a big jump, that's good. Bent legs a little bit, and then just didn't quite have enough room to finish.
Yeah, and that splash demonstrates the fact that he just lost it towards the end of the dive. Yeah, right there, just that. Imagine that would have maybe just hurt a little bit.
Yeah. So that's our first arm stand dive we've seen from Kobe, and certainly not easy to do. Now, that was good.
Did he hold it long enough at the start?
Exactly. So the diver must represent. The diver must show that they have control of the handstand. So they need to hold it for sort of 2 to 3 seconds. And Kobe, unfortunately, didn't do that. He just went straight over, as you can see there, which means the judges will take off some points.
But at least he had the fortitude to continue.
That's right.
Didn't hesitate. Another one that's just lost it too. And so almost a replay this time, Archie Borges. So
yeah.
I saw them in the warm-up, and they all seemed to be okay in terms of holding it, get into competition time, lights, camera, action.
Oh, it's
suddenly things change a little bit.
It's extremely nerve-wracking doing a handstand in competition, because if you come down, that's what we call a restart or a balk, and that results in the judges will be taking 2 points off from every judge. So they get severely penalised. So it's quite scary to do in competition.
So Lucy Nia will be disappointed with her previous round jump. She is all class. And that's a better performance. Lovely entry that time from Nia.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think we might see some 9s here from Lucy. She jumped really high, showing her power. Had a beautiful tuck position, and then what was most impressive is as she comes out of that tuck position, we call that a kick, kicking out of the tuck. So you see there, tuck, kick, and it's nice and powerful and straight, pointed toes.
Yeah, it's always the sign of an athlete, isn't it, a good athlete, when you maybe underperform on one, but that ability to come back, correct it, make the adjustment, do the visualization, and be able to put it out of your mind. And
That's
that was a great example of it. Now, Agata Solanas from Wellington Girls College. You've been consistent that time, just a little under rotation in that entry.
Similar to Lucy, probably not quite as good, primarily because Lucy jumped a lot higher, but everything else in the air was very nice. Slightly shorter vertical, but she managed to keep the splash down. But great form in the air.
Yeah, picked up some really good scores there from the judges. Just have a look here. Just here.
Worth noting as well, the judges don't get the replay for their marks.
Now, Riley Oxenham, we've seen the 2 of the boys just lose it here in this handstand position. She can hold it. Oh, wonderful athleticism. That is in itself is amazing.
Yeah, that's a shame, because that was a beautiful handstand, but you would have seen just at the start, she kicked up and then came back down. And unfortunately, once the foot leaves the platform,
it's considered part of the dive.
And if it comes back down again, that's considered a restart. So we'll see here she
loses 2 points across the judges.
Comes back down. So the judges will mark the dive as normal, and then the referee will take off 2 points from every judge in their total score. But once she did the dive, it was beautiful. And that's the sort of mental challenge of competing a handstand dive.
Now, Olivia Fox, 2.1 degree of difficulty off the 7.5 metre platform. It's a good dive, a little bit heavy on the entry, but the first half, very good.
Olivia's great in the air. She's really powerful, good athleticism off the platform. Just missing the entries, unfortunately.
So what is that, an adjustment of the hands? What forces a diver to not...
You see there, she grabs her hands, and she's probably just grabbing them slightly in the wrong position, so it's very technical on the water. There's a lot going on very fast.
So now we go back to Roisin Ward. Another gate just comes in, slightly bent, slightly buckled on the entry.
Yeah, a little bit, and it was good off the start, off the platform, you know, good jump, and in the air was nice, and she just came out of her tuck probably a little bit too early, and that resulted in her not quite finishing all the rotation.
Now, rumour has it, Liam, that in between sessions you're going to go and give us a demonstration? No, that's not true.
Well, I think the cameras have to get turned off, so I would, but you know.
Jana Fedorova, 1.4, really just needs to get this one right. Again, very focused. And again, just over rotation on entry and just loses it.
So you'll notice in the replay she jumped quite far back from the platform, went backwards instead of upwards, if you like. See here, she goes straight travelling back and a little bit sideways as well. So that is reflected in the entry. And yeah, it's a good point, Mark, because it's all easy for us to sit here and critique a little bit, but it's certainly not easy to.
Oh no, you've got to admire these youngsters, and as we've said, you know, in time they'll develop that core strength, which will again allow them to execute some of these dives a little bit better. Lovely dive, lovely entry there from Grace.
Yeah, that's nice from Grace. Probably her best dive yet, actually.
Let's talk about Grace there. Was she just too far away from the platform, perhaps?
A little bit too far, and probably jumped a little bit too low. So her entry was really nice and vertical. You'll see here on the jump, she just wants to go a bit higher. She just kind of cut it off, but that entry is exactly what the judges are looking for.
Yeah, lovely dive. So Melody Choi.
So Melody, they're doing what we call a forwards lineup or a tuck roll. They are allowed to compete that in this event.
Because one of the challenges, isn't it, for the young divers and those emerging is that we're saying, hey, you can have 5 or 6 dives. Well, not all of them have them mastered. So they go back to some of the basic stuff.
That's right. So that's sort of
which has a very low degree of difficulty, in that case, a 1.
Yes. So that's a progression for sort of learning how to enter off the 5 metre. You know, it takes the jump out of it and just focus on the entry. She's done it really well.
And now Daniel Farrelly Grace, his 4th dive. 2.2 degree of difficulty. So settle back and watch this one. Should be spectacular from this young man from Maclean's College in Auckland.
Yeah, nice from Dan. It's a relatively new dive for him, I believe. And he managed to fit it in. The judges will also look for sort of how easy the dive looks, which is, you know, subjective, which is so sometimes you'll see a range of scores.
Yeah, often, but the great divers, it's like in all sport, isn't it? The great ones make it look easy. You often hear the terminology soft hands.
That's right.
It's about that relaxation and yeah, but as you say, it can be a little subjective. Right, now, Ross Miller.
So 2.5 somersaults here.
So here he goes.
Pretty good from Ross. There's a lot of somersaults. Obviously, we've not seen a 2.5 yet in this event. So he didn't quite finish it high enough, which is why the judges won't be giving him the 7s. So you see 1, 2.5, and he just kind of didn't straighten out straight away. So as we watch the replay here, he's nice and high off the platform. That's good. Good tuck position. And then there, he keeps his legs bent too long. So the judges will penalise for that a little bit.
And now Kobe Fox, 2.1. Another high degree of difficulty for Fox. Just going to get that balance right. Just a little bit shaky. Now finds the composure. That's a good dive. Better dive from Fox.
Yeah, beautiful entry from Kobe. The judges will give him good marks for that. See a 5.5 and an 8 there. So that's where sort of the subjectivity comes in, because Kobe he had a beautiful entry, but he was quite far away from the board, and you'll see here he's got flexed feet in the dive, and so judges will deduct for that, as well as reward for the good entry. See there's feet are flexed, knees actually bent slightly as well. Some judges will see that and some may miss it. Of course, they don't get the replay like we do.
Archie Vorges. Again, just comes up, slightly under-rotates on entry. Slaps the water.
Yeah, and of course, when you're going from that high, if you don't quite get that entry right, then obviously it kicks up quite a bit of splash. But through the air was nice. He's got a beautiful pike position, and his toe point is amazing, actually. Just there, he just doesn't quite get vertical. So he's kicking up a bit of splash. Just not quite vertical.
We saw a very, very good dive from Lucy Neer. Picked up some 9s on her previous dive. What can she do now, Neer?
Yeah, nice from Lucy. She ran out of room a little bit, so it's unfortunate because everything else was excellent. You see she knows it. Just slightly shorter vertical, under-rotated. So she's got a good jump off the platform there. Nice tuck position. Comes out, looks for the water, and she kept the splash down. But it'll be easier to see from this angle that she is on a bit of an angle with her legs.
Been impressed by Agata Solinas. She's just been consistent. Hasn't tried to overreach too much in terms of her ability. And that's another very good dive from her.
Yeah, and that's quite key as a diver, is showing consistency. Obviously, well, in any sport, isn't it? But as we can develop.
Well, I have a saying, you don't want to confuse ability with ambition.
Yeah.
It can be a bit of a trap for young players, but I like the fact that you actually have to tell the judges what you're going to do prior to competition. It's not like you can try and play catch up and maybe fall into that trap in terms of chasing places.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And therefore, I guess it brings in a higher level of danger as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, Riley Oxenham from Albany Junior High School.
Good from Riley, slightly shorter vertical, but everything in the air was excellent, and that's why the judges are rewarding that. Really high off the platform as well. She's so powerful. So you see a really high jump there. Beautiful pike position. Pretty clean entry as well.
Now Olivia Fox. Another one from this powerful dive school at Albany Junior High on Auckland's North Shore. High degree of difficulty at 2.2. Good dive.
Yeah, good from Olivia. Showing us how easy it is for her with that little pike out that I was talking about earlier. So she jumps off the platform, goes into the tuck position, and then straightens her legs prior to straightening her hips. You'll see in the replay. So she comes into her tuck position here, does a little pike out, has a look for the water, just gives you a bit more time to adjust and line up. But you've got to be able to have the strength to do that.
Now, Roisin Ward, can she hold this handstand without losing it? No, she loses it too, so she will unfortunately have the 2 points deducted from the referee. Just never really got control, did she? She just never got it back either.
Yeah, so in that case, the referee won't deduct, but the judges will individually. So the handstand in the rules says there must be control, and unfortunately there's not control. But she didn't restart like we saw earlier.
Okay.
So
so she'll just be
a judge's discretion, if you like.
Yeah. Okay. Just bringing some clarity to that. So Liam Stone alongside of me, Commonwealth Games representative, as we see another solid dive from Jana Fedorova.
Yeah, and again, good in the air, just a little bit off on the entry, and it's so hard to get that entry right as you get on these higher boards, you know. So she's got a good tuck position, just You can see her legs flying over a vertical. Drops her head there, and there just over-rotates a little bit.
Now Grace Young of Westlake Girls High School. Just trying to get the first part right. Can't drop those legs. This is good. Now just needs to hold it.
Beautiful handstand. Wow. So Grace showing us, you know, her strength, being able to press up to the handstand is the terminology we use as opposed to kick up. So she's pressing up with two legs. And she held it really nicely. Then unfortunately just lost her legs there. You see they got bent. Just lost control slightly on the entry.
Now Melody Choi. So not as high a degree of difficulty, but again the difficulty here is in the handstand. One thing you tend to see, particularly from those athletes, again, just loses that. And that's not her best dive. But
so, yeah, that's unfortunate. We will see some low scores here because Melody was supposed to do this dive in the pike position, and you'll see in the replay that she bent her legs, almost showing us a tuck position. So going over there, she bends her legs now. And shorter vertical as well. She just ran out of room. I enjoyed learning some of our diving terminology in Māori yesterday. Standout for me was the pike position known as the koropiko. And Dan showing us a pike position in this dive here.
yeah, they're just struggling a little bit on this, aren't they? All of the divers at the moment.
Yeah, and it's really not easy to do, to hold that handstand, as I said, in the competition as well, so you got the pressure and the nerves.
I should just say in Te Reo 2, the 1.5 somersault is po teki teki tahi haurua. The pike is the koropiko, as mentioned. Somersault is po teki teki. As we see Ross Millett from Onslow College. You just sort of sense he's not too far away from putting it all together, this young man.
Certainly a talent.
And that's better. That's a really nice clean entry from Ross.
Yeah, this will get some big marks. That's pretty impressive from Ross. You can see on his face he's happy with that.
And there we go. So the 6.5 will be taken away, and one of the 9. So 9, 9 and an 8. That's 26, is it? Yeah, 26 by my calculations, plus the degree of difficulty. So really good.
That's right.
Accumulation of points from this young man.
Beautiful jump, strong kick, and then nice vertical with a clean entry. Yeah, he's happy.
Well, we talked about it. Not too far away from putting it all together. Another one too. That's not too far away from putting it all together. Kobe Fox of Rangitoto. So off the 7.5 metre platform, 1.9 degree of difficulty. Can he hold it? Yeah, good dive too. So it's almost becomes one diver does it, and then it just seems to flow through.
Yeah, that's nice from Kobe, and the final round, divers tend to put dives that they're really comfortable with and know they can sort of, you know, finish on a high. And this is, of course, our final round. So Kobe, beautiful dive there. In with 1.5 tuck.
Now Archie Vorges from Bayfield High School. Another one of just these emerging talents. An opportunity to gain some valuable competition experience amongst some very good divers.
So showing us, we've not seen a feet first entry. They are allowed to enter feet first, and we don't often see the straight position either. But Archie showing us a back somersault straight and doing quite a good job of it. Any bend in the hips or knees, judges will take off, but he's not done that. Straight position.
Lucy, Austin
known as
Central
Torotika. Good dive there. It's hard to get good points on a feet first century.
Now Lucy Near. Oh, again, just can't hold the handstand.
Yeah, it's certainly easier said than done, and everything else was nice, but the reason for the sixes is that the judges have to penalise for not holding the handstand. Nice tuck position, pretty good entry, a little bit of splash.
The hands on the clock never stopped moving, did they?
That's right.
There we go.
On the 5 meter, Agatha was 1.5 of the girls' top.
And now, Miss Consistency, Agata Solanas, just has been solid all day. We're looking to just try and close this competition out with another very good dive. And again, slightly short on the entry, but all in all a good dive.
Very solid. I mean, her scores have been very consistent across the whole event. Just ran out of room slightly. Maybe from the 7 metre she would have been able to finish the dive, just to see their shorter vertical. So judges will deduct for that. See here is on a bit of an angle as opposed to perpendicular to the water.
And now Riley Oxenham. Can she close this out? Got a real chance of snaring this gold medal if she can put a good performance here with a degree of difficulty of 2.2. That's good from Oxenham. Really good way to finish for Riley Oxenham.
Yeah, she's had a good event, and she's certainly one to watch for the future. She's very, very talented, and showing us her skills there. Inward 1.5, so she's rotating forwards, jumping backwards. It can be quite scary to do, especially on platform.
And now Olivia Fox.
So she'll demonstrate what we call a press to handstand. Comes from a gymnastics background.
Unofficially leading this competition at the moment and just can't quite hold it.
Yeah, unfortunately didn't quite hold it, as you said. Nice in the air, just missed that entry a bit. So it'll be interesting to see what the judges do. That's why there's a bit of a range there. You can see 6 to 8.5. Some liked it more than others. Some will reward for this nice pike position there, and some will deduct for, you know, the splash and the lack of holding more than others. But that's why we've got, you know, the highest and the lowest mark gets taken off. The middle 3 remain.
And now Roisin Ward of Takapuna Grammar School. Her final dive.
Yeah, so took her time, but eventually when she went, it was nice in the air and just under-rotated. Her pike was a little bit open there. But you see kicking up a bit of splash, so that's why the judges have not scored her as high as the previous dive we saw.
And now Jana Fedorova. Again, another one that just can't quite hold it and loses it. So gets that first part of the dive wrong and never really pulls it back. But let's just see what the judges do give it.
Yeah, and there was quite a twist on the entry, which the judges will take points off for as well. So you'll notice beautiful handstand position, just didn't quite hold it for long enough, and she just twisted there. You saw her hips.
I just want to emphasise too, though, just the quality of these young athletes. Remarkable, all of them. What they're doing is extraordinary. I cannot emphasise that enough. Grace Young from Westlake Girls High School, 1.7. Degree of difficulty. Can she finish with a good dive? And that is a good dive. Slightly under rotates on the entry.
Pretty good from Grace, though. As you said, a little bit under rotated, so that's why we said 6s and 5.5s and not the 7s. But everything else was solid. Just there.
And now Melody Choi. Just another one of the youngsters trying to make their way through the diving ranks. And a nice way for her to finish the competition. Nice clean entry. Arguably her best dive of the day. Great finish from Melody. 1.5 somersaults in the tuck position. So you see here she could have jumped a bit higher. Judges like to see a nice high jump, but she finishes nice and vertical. Pretty clean entry. Overall, I think she should be pretty happy with that. So we'll just bring you those results of this under 14, under 15 secondary schools competition off the platform. We've still got the 6, 15, 16s and 17 and over to come. That's right. And there it is. So Ross Miller, Olivia Fox, Riley Oxenham, Kobe Fox, Daniel Farrelly-Grace. So Olivia Fox will take out the girls' competition. Ross Miller, the boys' competition. They're your 2 gold medalists, and not a lot in it between those two. Not a lot just 0.6 of a point separating the two of them. It'll be Riley Oxenham who will take the silver medal. Kobe Fox on the boys' side will take the silver. Daniel Farrelly-Grace, the bronze. And Agata Solinas will pick up the bronze medal on the girls' side as well. So I hope you are enjoying coverage here of the New Zealand Secondary Schools Diving Championship across Whakata Māori. We do hope you are enjoying the coverage. We'll take a wee break and we're back with more from Westwave here in Henderson, in Auckland.
This isn't about printing. It's about better results with over 90 offices right across the country in residential, commercial and rural.
Whoops, running on empty? Enjoy a 6 cents per litre fuel discount at your local Caltex with Pumped every day. Ah, feels good, eh? Get it at any participating Caltex.
Ladies and gentlemen, this downtown apartment is the perfect first property. Our vendors have a new baby, they're moving on, so we're selling this today. Do I have any more bids? One bid here, thank you. I've got a bid there. We've got one more here. Yes, we have one more bid. We have a bid here. Do we have any more final bids?
This isn't about just selling one property. It's about getting a better result for our clients. So we can help them with their next property, the one after that, and the one after that.
No time to fluff around today? No worries. Just swing into Caltex and pay for fuel with Pay and App to speed on through. Ooh, yeah. Feels good. Use it at your local participating Caltex.
This isn't about cameras. It's about getting a better shot, so you can get a better result. A great photo of your property is more important than a picture of our agent.
No mai, hari mai, piki mai, kaki mai. Welcome back to West Wave in Henderson in Auckland for coverage of the New Zealand Secondary Schools Diving Championship. Hope you are enjoying the coverage. Shortly we will bring you the 15, 16 and 17 years and over age category from the platform. But Caltex, and we love Caltex, well, they're good sports, aren't they? And as part of this, they choose that athlete that has shown great sportsmanship. And standing by with this year's recipient is Liam Stone.
Okay, so we're here with Archie Borges, and a special congratulations to Archie for winning the Caltex Good Sport Award. So we have a prize here for you, Archie, and just want to ask you, how's the competition been? What's been, enjoyable, and how have you enjoyed it?
Oh, it's great. I've got to meet lots of new people. I've made some new friends. It's real cool. Yeah.
Awesome, yeah, and it's always special to be able to compete for your school as well, isn't it? And so I understand you flew up a couple of days prior to this for a training camp. How was that? Did you learn anything new, and how did that help you for today's event?
Yeah, it was really good, actually. We did lots of control work, so my dive on 7.5 was a lot nicer than what it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you, platform is slightly different to springboard. Do you have a preference? What's your favourite event and maybe a favourite dive?
I love platform. I can't control my springboard for anything. But I really like front 1.5 off 7.5. Right. Favourite dive.
Yeah, no, I noticed that, and you had a beautiful pike position in the dive as well. Very, very well-deserved award, Archie. Congratulations, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you back next year for the event again.
Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful recipient. Again, special thanks to Caltex too for providing that Good Sport Award. Lovely to have them on board too, and I hope you are enjoying the coverage across Whakata Māori. Don't forget Rangatahi. That's about bringing sport to Aotearoa for those up to the age of 27. We'll take a break. When we come back, it is more diving from the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championships for 2022.
This isn't about printing. It's about better results with over 90 offices right across the country in residential, commercial and rural.
Whoops, running on empty? Enjoy a 6 cents per litre fuel discount at your local Caltex with Pumped every day. Ah, feels good, eh? Get it at any participating Caltex.
Ladies and gentlemen, this downtown apartment is the perfect first property. Our vendors have a new baby, they're moving on, so we're selling this today. Do I have any more bids? One bid here, thank you. I've got a bid there. We've got one more here. Yes, we have one more bid. We have a bid here. Do we have any more final bids?
This isn't about just selling one property. It's about getting a better result for our clients, so we can help them with their next property, the one after that, and the one after that.
No time to fluff around today? No worries. Just swing into Caltex and pay for fuel with Pay an App to speed on through. Ooh, yeah. Feels good. Use it at your local participating Caltex.
This isn't about cameras. It's about getting a better shot, so you can get a better result. A great photo of your property is more important than a picture of our agent.
So we're about to get underway for it'll be a combined event with the boys and girls 15 to 16 age group and also the 17 plus age group. They will be competing together. There will be 6 dives for the 15 to 16 competitors and 7 for the 17 plus. They are about to march on shortly for us.
Divers march on.
And now the introduction of the athletes. Always a special moment.
In the 15 to 16 girls for the platform, Amelia Judkins from Western Spring. Hannah Black from Wellington East Yard, Grace Campbell from Westlake. And Lily Reed from Wellington High School. And in the boys 17 and over platform, we have Theo Smith from Otago Boys High School, Caleb Young from Litchfield College, Anna Lee from Oslo College, and Kia Reed from Rollins High College.
Arno Lee was one of our competitors at the Commonwealth Games and was there for the 10 metre synchro, so this is a bit more of his stuff.
Oh, should see some fireworks, shouldn't we? Should see diving at its finest, what makes the sport so appealing visually.
That's right.
Which is what everyone does want to see. And so I'd imagine too a real sort of a broad spectrum of experience for these New Zealand secondary schools competitions. As you said, Commonwealth Games representative at one end and others, well, maybe just taking up the sport in the last couple of years, first sort of competition for a lot of them.
That's right, yeah, and it's so good to see, so many new competitors and young talent coming through the sport. The sport of diving has grown a considerable amount in the last sort of 5 to 10 years, and looks like it continues to do so. So it's very exciting for the future.
Yeah, I hope you are enjoying coverage, of course, for Kata Māori, to appreciate and acknowledge their wonderful support of New Zealand secondary school sport as they go through their final routines and preparation, getting a feel for their environment, getting a feel for the platform, the pool, and they'll all train at different pools around the country. And I'd imagine too, like a lot of sport, Liam, that everything must have a slightly different feel from pool to pool.
Oh yeah, totally. It's every pool has slightly different platform grip, and every springboard feels slightly different, and of course the environment, the lighting and what we call spots. So when you're somersaulting, as you go through your rotations and you come ready, you're getting ready to come out of the somersault and line up for your entry into the water, there's always a spot that you see, and that's sort of your cue to kick out of the tuck or the pike that you're in. And of course that's going to be different at every pool.
Yeah, I want to ask you this because you often hear in soccer, football, someone takes a penalty some days you turn up to a ground and we know that the dimensions are exactly the same, but some days the goalposts just look smaller. Other grounds, they just look bigger. You talk about runners turn up to a 400-metre track, and sometimes the 400-metre track looks shorter, and other days it just looks bigger.
Yeah.
Does some 10-metre platforms feel higher than others?
Yeah, no, it does, actually, and a lot of it has to do with the roof height. You know, if it's a higher roof, it might feel a bit lower. This pool has quite a low roof compared to some of the international pools, so it can feel a bit higher. And then, of course, the size of the pool can sometimes give, a different perspective. And
well, you often hear in swimming too, there are fast pools, slow pools based on hydrodynamics. I'm going to ask you this question, and clearly, let's just assume that you do have a nice clean entry, but does some water feel heavier than others?
Yeah, no, it does actually. It's a good point, and the temperature can often make a difference. Some pools just seem to be easier to rip in than others, and when I say rip, I mean a sort of a perfect entry. That's sort of the diving terminology. If you can imagine you're ripping through the water with no splash. That's
right. I'm going to turn this medal ceremony over to you, because I think it's only fair that you want to recognise them, because you're an athlete that they probably all aspire to.
Yeah, totally. Well, there's Archie just in the shot earlier, just obviously won our Caltex Good Sport Award, and he is a great little competitor, flew up from Otago. There's Daniel Farrelly-Grace on the podium there, bronze medal, and he's happy to be here, competing some of his newer dives in the event. Kobe Fox also trains in Auckland with Daniel, and comes from a gymnastics background, and it's exciting to see him progress in the sport of diving and kind of transfer some of his skills.
And in third place with a score of 206.8, Ross Miller from Auckland College.
And our gold medalist, Ross Miller, based in Wellington, and certainly a talent to watch for the future. He's been in the sport a number of years now, and it's slowly starting to show his hard work's paying off, and he had some great dives in the event just now, and it's exciting to see for the future some talent coming through, and maybe one day these guys could be on the international stage together, so it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, now well done to them and the three schools involved. I'd imagine they'd be incredibly proud, probably have assembly for them on that first Monday back after the school holidays. Bit of a character, the boy from Rangitoto, isn't he? Bit of a showman.
He certainly is.
Just have a look up there at that 10-metre platform.
Maybe an opportunity to go through some of our diving terminology in Te Reo. We've learnt diving is known as ruku. The diver is the kairuku. We'll see a range of positions that the divers can choose from. Straight, tuck and pike, koroneki, korotika and koropiko.
Yeah, now we do encourage people to always try and learn as much of Te Reo, the Māori language, as possible, as we now bring you the medal presentation for the girls.
Yeah, and there's Agata taking our bronze medal, and she's based in Wellington as well, trains with Ross, who we saw earlier, took the gold.
Yeah, she was consistent all day, wasn't she? She just, very much dived within herself and just made sure she had accuracy.
Riley Oxenham taking the silver. She's certainly a talent to watch for the future as well, as are all these girls, but
certainly
dived well today.
And And you're old school, Albany Junior High School, eh? You've set a standard, you've created a legacy, Liam, and now they've looked at you and said, well, if he can do it, we can all do it.
Yeah, it's good to see, and they have been a bit of a powerhouse now for a long time, Albany Junior High. They've got a good program there. They encourage a lot of participation in diving, and Riley and Olivia were picked up.
It's great also to see too, and I have a bit to do with Q sports and various sports, but also great to see that we're starting to see the influence of the Asian population now coming into these types of sports, which just builds that depth, but also just increases the overall standard. Clearly China, powerhouse when it comes to diving, dominated Olympic Games level.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And a lot of diversity in the diving community, actually, which is great to see. And
well, everybody brings a slightly different way of doing things too, and you can all learn, can't you? I mean, my experiences from having lived up in places like Japan, very good technically, very rehearsed in the way they do things, where maybe sometimes the New Zealand way is maybe adapting your style based on your own sort of physiology and mechanics.
That's right, yeah, and the good thing,
and there's not necessarily a right or wrong.
No, yeah. I mean, internationally, the diving community is quite small. Sort of everyone knows everyone, if you like, and the coaches are always talking together and often sharing philosophies and coaching techniques and stuff. So that's actually quite good for the sport, because some of the, as you say, the Chinese are certainly the powerhouse nation, and they're willing to share some of their expertise.
Now, were you good at science at school?
Well,
physics?
Define good, I suppose.
Well, I want you to tell me, you must know this, what sort of speed are they coming off, hitting the water out off the 10 metre?
Yeah, so it is a considerable speed.
That's a good answer, considerable speed. That's not precise, but it says that it's fast.
Just shy of 60k an hour.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm not sure that'll get you a pass mark, but I do like your answer. Ooh.
Yeah, so that's Arno there. He's doing his final warm-ups.
I'm not sure that he really would like to land on his back, though, would he, Arno?
No, it never feels good.
Let's take a look here. Oh, fell well short, didn't he? Very Arno-like. This man, of course, here representing New Zealand at the recent Commonwealth Games on the 10 metre.
Yeah, and he's had a bit of time off, so we'll give him a break. But he may not compete all of his dives that he was doing at the Commonwealth Games today. For that reason, he's had some time off. He's currently getting back into it and preparing for the Junior World Champs, which is kicking off at the end of November.
And where are they being held?
They're being held in Montreal in Canada.
Lovely, yep.
So we've got another final qualifying competition next week for some competitors to hopefully make the team.
Hope you are enjoying coverage of the New Zealand Secondary Schools Diving Championships from courtesy of Whakata Māori. Very much a philosophy of rangatahi. It's getting people active up to the age of 27 in sport across Aotearoa. No mai, haere mai, piki mai, kaki mai, if you have just joined us. And that is the 10 metre, and it is a long way up. And then you've got to throw another metre and a half on from your up to your eyes. So you're certainly looking at 11.5 metres. That's certainly what it feels. Ooh, nice dive too in the warm-up.
Yeah, pretty special actually from Caleb there. He comes from a gymnastics background and he's been diving for several years now, and 2.5 somersaults pike. He'll want to save that for the comp.
We saw him yesterday on the platform, on the springboard, and it was just his entries that were really where he probably needed a bit of work. And we saw the power of this young man off the springboard. Again, off the platform, how important is strength? I mean, how much is it in terms of their takeoff? Clearly the springboard, you can create and generate power. This you can't.
Yeah.
So is it as important?
Oh, it is. It's key. It's a slightly different technique. Obviously, as you said, springboard is moving. You've got to have an ability to use the springboard and create sort of momentum and force into the springboard. Platform is just solid, but you need to be able to jump very high and very fast to create enough energy into the dive. You know, There's a lot of somersaults to get through, and Arno, we saw him doing a back 2.5 earlier on the 5 metre. Eventually he'll take that up to 10 metre, and he's doing a back 3.5 somersaults. So to fit in 3.5 somersaults, you need to be jumping high and spinning fast. So there's a lot of work that goes in out of the water and what we call dry land training, and we do a lot of sort of gymnastics style training, things on the trampoline, on the mats, and in the weight room, and all of that kind of stuff to be able to improve the power and speed and ability to, as you say, jump, essentially.
Jason Statham, action hero.
Yeah.
Hollywood movie star.
Yeah.
Represented England at the Commonwealth Games back in 1990 here.
He certainly did on these very boards.
It's quite a cool story, that.
Yeah, no, it is.
You thought about a movie career yourself?
Making a transition. Well, you never know.
You probably need to just buff up a little bit.
Bulk up a bit, yeah. Maybe I'll have a chat with him.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise that with the actor Jason Statham, who's very much his niche or genre is action. Diver. He was out here recently. What was the Megalodon, wasn't it? A movie about the Megalodon, which was some prehistoric great white shark that apparently was still alive in the depths of the Hauraki Gulf.
Well, clearly divers make the best action heroes.
Well, you'd be good on your stunts, wouldn't you? You'd be good on your stunts. You wouldn't be afraid to sort of leap off a tall building and land in some sort of like air mattress or...
Yeah, no, that's right. It's actually somewhat common for divers to go into stunt performance or Cirque du Soleil, as a lot of divers have gone into Cirque.
And now we're also seeing clearly through Red Bull and stuff, we are now seeing a lot of the cliff diving and some of that more extreme diving, and clearly through social media that's getting a lot of hits these days, and it's almost becoming an industry in itself.
Yeah, no, that's right. And the high diving, I mean, gosh, that is a whole nother ball game. They're diving from 27 metres, so we're talking about 10 metres as high.
Yeah, and interesting to see that they've got 2 scuba divers either side. Yes. A lot of safety in place because you do need to get that one right.
You do, yeah, and they are landing feet first. But all of those divers started off as traditional divers, and a lot of them post high school or post university will make the transition to high diving.
And then you get the high divers on the cruise liners too.
Yes, yeah, and that's actually sort of where it started. That's how a lot of them got into competitive high diving, as they started doing show diving, we call it, and on the cruises, and they're doing demonstration dives from 15-20 metres, and they decided to start, why don't we compete?
The boards are now closed.
And so the boards have been officially closed, so we're not too far away from getting underway with the competition. Last warm-up dive for that competitor. Yeah, the other thing I sort of see now, and it's probably not really diving, it's more sort of probably what a lot of kids did just growing up, but it's the old staple dive.
Yeah.
And what do they call that, where these guys are being marked and leaping off ridiculously high and then sort of basically almost having to fold over into a staple position and try not to hurt yourself?
Yeah, well, you'll see the odd, some of the more experienced divers have the practice and the skill to be able to do the stunts, and they'll do staple dives off 10 metre. And
I guess what I'm saying is that there are just a whole lot of different pathways out of the sport of diving.
Absolutely, yeah.
And sport has evolved, and it is evolving, and you can argue that there's that let's call it almost that urban sort of ad hoc diving that's now taking the world by storm. Obviously the traditional diving, which you see at Commonwealth, World Championships, the Olympic Games, but so many different pathways now for young divers, but it starts here. And that's the important thing. It starts at this level. This is where you learn the fundamentals. This is where the guesswork is taken out.
Yeah, that's right. And, a lot of kids just getting into it purely for recreation. There's no need to sort of go to that elite level if you don't want to, and they want to learn how to do flips and then, go down to the wharf and show their mates.
You're pretty cool though, aren't you?
Exactly.
I mean, you must be one of the cooler kids where you just sort of stroll on up and go, they probably go, oh yeah, look at that guy, and then you just waltz on up, do something, and everyone's just like, whoa, look at that dude, I want to be that guy's mate.
Yeah, that's right.
So just for those that have just joined us, so how many dives are we going to see now from these divers?
So we will see, there's a joined competition here. So we've got the both boys and girls at the 15-16 category. They will do 6 dives, and the 17 plus category they will do 7 dives. And we will see the boys and girls dive together. They will get separate medals for their individual events. However, the points taken into consideration for the overall school to win the overall competition, they are in the same competition for that.
Yeah, and coming in earlier today, and we haven't had this updated since the earlier rounds for the younger age categories, but coming into today's competition, it was Albany Junior High who had a commanding lead, 104 points over Onslow College on 77. Then Otago boys, they were also sitting second equal on 77, and then jumping down to 4th place, it was Westlake Girls, Rangitoto College, Takapuna Grammar. So real large diving contingent, certainly on Auckland's North Shore, which is also where sports like water polo are very, very strong as well. Maybe it comes down to, I don't know, perhaps facilities as much as anything, but lovely to have representation from right across the country, 25 schools in all.
Yeah, it's awesome, and as I said earlier, it's, from my perspective, you know, having started the sport some time ago, it's grown so much, and it's just so exciting to see so many kids involved now. And
we look at our judges here. Give us a big wave too.
Yeah, and there will be 5 judges in this event, and the way the scoring works is the judges will mark the dive out of 10 across a range of half points, so from 0 to half to 1 to 1.5 and so on. And the highest and the lowest mark will get taken off, and you will be left with the middle 3 scores. So essentially a perfect dive, you'll be left with 30 points, and then that score will be multiplied by the degree of difficulty that each dive has. So the harder the dive, the higher the degree of difficulty, and therefore the higher the potential you have for your total score.
So you're watching live coverage of the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championship from West Wave in Henderson in Auckland. Hope you are enjoying the coverage across Whakatu Māori. Shortly we will bring you the 15, 16, 17 years in age over platform competition. We'll take a wee break. Back with more shortly.
This isn't about printing. It's about better results with over 90 offices right across the country in residential, commercial and rural.
Whoops, running on empty? Enjoy a 6 cents per litre fuel discount at your local Caltex with Pumped every day. Ah, feels good, eh? Get it at any participating Caltex.
mai, no mai, hari mai, piki mai, kaki mai. Welcome back into live coverage of the New Zealand Secondary Schools Diving Championship from West Wave in Waitakere, Henderson, Auckland. Looking forward to having your company. It is the platform, the 10 metre, the 7.5 metre. Best divers in the country, under 17 and over. Alongside of me, Commonwealth Games diving representative Liam Stone, bringing you the expert comments. We can tell you that after the synchronised springboard diving events and the junior platform, it is Albany leading Onslow over Westlake as we watch Amelia Judkins first up.
Great start from Amelia. Front 1.5 somersaults and pike from 7.5 metre, and you can hear 8s and a 9 in the background. She's done a nice jump, beautiful pike position, and that entry is exactly what the judges are looking for.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that, and she of course won the springboard competition yesterday, so she is quality. Hannah Black now from Wellington East Girls, 1.3, so not a high degree of difficulty. Good first up start, slightly heavy on the entry.
Yeah, pretty solid. Nice in the air it was. Just a little bit over a vertical on the entry. Just sort of lost that line. Just there, legs flick over and kicks up a bit of splash. But nice pike position in the air.
And now Grace Campbell from Westlake. Good first up too from Grace.
Yeah, nice from Grace. You'll notice in the replay she's just travelling forwards probably a bit too much, so the judges will take that off or into consideration in their score. So the judges want to see a nice high jump. You want to be relatively close to the board, not dangerously close. But
now Lily Reid, not a high degree of difficulty, lovely execution, good first up percentage dive from Lily.
Yeah, nice and clean from Lily. A range of scores there. Some judges may have liked to see her jump higher, but some will be rewarding for that entry, which was pretty nice there. Judges want to see a vertical line sort of perpendicular to the water.
Now back up to the 10 metre. Theo Smith, an exciting young diver, animated, busy. Good first up from him too. Nice first up from Theo Smith.
Yeah, nice from Theo, and that's the first of, I think, many dives that we'll see from the 10 metre board.
8.5, 6.5, 9.
So, reason for maybe a mix of scores there is one judge may have seen a bit of a twist on the entry. If the diver twists, then the judges will deduct, and they're all sitting on slightly different angles, so they all see something slightly different.
So Caleb Young from Linfield College.
Yeah, and good from Caleb. We saw him have a good warm-up, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes in the event. Solid start, slightly short of vertical on the entry, but he kept it clean. The judges don't want to see too much splash.
And now Arno Lee, Commonwealth Games representative, 1.6, and not a high degree of difficulty, so he'll be looking for really good execution here. Such an experienced and accomplished diver. Good first up dive from him.
Yeah, showing us his class. You'll notice in the replay he jumps straight up, so he doesn't travel too far forward. And his pike position is pristine with that straight legs, pointed toes, and then the entry is almost near perfect as well.
So now Kia Reid.
So Kia, a forward dive pike, so just half a rotation, and the pike position was a little bit open, so the judges will want to see in a pike sort of the chest touching the legs, so if you can imagine sort of folding in half is the perfect pike, and anything less than that they'll just deduct a little bit of marks for it.
Amelia Judkins from Western Springs. Second attempt, leading this competition amongst the girls. Another very good, solid performance from her. So Really finding her form this weekend, Judkins.
Yeah, she's looking good, and that's another solid dive from Amelia, so showing us the inward 1.5. So as I mentioned earlier, there's 6 different categories the divers can choose their dives from, this being inward, rotating forwards, jumping backwards.
And now Hannah Black from Wellington East Girls College.
There we see a backwards dive. So we've seen forwards, we've seen inwards, here's backwards.
A serious question for the guys, probably a slightly sensitive subject. Do the guys wear any sort of like box type protection like you see in cricket, just through the groin area?
No, they don't. But some divers will wear 2 layers of togs, just for that sort of extra protection.
Yeah, just in case things go awry a little bit from a reasonable height. Grace Campbell up next from Westlake Girls High School. Good first up dive. Higher degree of difficulty here, so expect to see some fireworks. Good dive too.
Yeah, nice from Grace. Just slightly over-rotated. Everything, she did all the hard work at the start and in the air, and just lost the entry slightly. So you see here, she's beautiful pike coming out, lines up, and just over-rotates slightly.
And now Lily Reid. Good from Lily. Solid.
Yeah, an inward dive pike. Judges probably would have liked to see her jump a bit higher. And a bit of a tighter pike position, so that folding in half I was talking about. But everything else was nice and clean. Judges will consider the overall impression, the height, the form in the air, distance from the board, and of course the entry.
Theo Smith from Otago Boys High School. Second dive for him. That's good from Theo as well. So showing consistency.
Yeah, showing a nice, nice high, powerful jump. Beautiful pike position. And that nice clean entry.
He certainly looks a lot more comfortable off the platform than perhaps what we saw yesterday on the springboard. And now Caleb Young, who struggled a little bit with his entry. Very, very good through the air though, gymnastics background. And that just demonstrates it, just loses a little bit of control though.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the judges do here, because he, showed his strength by pressing up into the handstand, but he didn't quite hold it long enough. So that's reflected in the marks. They've just taken off some points for that. So when you get to the top, you just got to show control and hold it for a second or two. But everything else was nice.
Liam Stone alongside of me, bringing you all the expert comments, Commonwealth Games representative, as we look at Arno Lee. Another Commonwealth Games representative from Onslow College, going up a slightly higher degree in difficulty, taking it up to a 2. And showing his quality again.
Yeah, good from Arno. First of the twisting dives we've seen. Relatively simple for him. But he's shown how easy it is, lining up, nice and vertical.
He's very strong physique, isn't he? He's like, you often think of divers being quite slight, and he's he's tall.
Yeah, he is. He's very powerful.
Looks more like a gymnast. Kia Reid from Rongotai College. Not a high degree of difficulty. Let's see if he can execute this. That's a good dive.
Yeah, it's a beautiful entry. Just that pike position was a little bit open. Probably wanted to just get his legs closer to his chest.
So just tuck a little bit tighter.
That entry was nice. Entry we learnt yesterday in Te Reo, known as Tomo. And that is the last thing the judges see. So it does have a heavy impact on the overall score.
Now Amelia Judkins. Another good dive from Judkins.
Yeah, solid. Just ran out of room a little bit, unfortunately. She had a nice, strong jump. See, they're way up in the air, and just there, just slightly short of vertical.
So Hannah Black.
That's nice from Hannah. So done everything we sort of want to see in terms of jump off the platform, nice tuck position, clean entry. Unfortunately, it was just over a vertical, so you'll see she's sort of creating a bit of an angle. The diver ideally wants to be perpendicular to the water, and anything sort of left or right of that is...
So anything at 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock?
Correct, yeah, that's right.
Well, I should say 5 and 7 if you're looking down the clock, aren't you?
Yep.
So it's a good clean dive too. That's really nice from Grace Campbell.
Yeah, really nice. I think we'll see some big scores here. Sort of only thing that she could have maybe done better in terms of the judge's eye is she was quite far away from the board. So it's pretty tough. You know, you do have to be close to that board, but of course you don't want to be dangerously close. But if you jump too far out, the judges will deduct marks.
Yeah, nice. Lot to like about that. Lovely entry.
Yeah, really nice from Grace. She's one of our up and comers on a national level, and no doubt will compete internationally one day. Or has done it in the past already, actually, but on the senior stage, perhaps in the future.
Yeah, that's from the 7.5 metre.
That's her teammate Amelia. They train together here at West Wave. They're based here.
Eight and a half, 9, 8, 9.
Yeah, 8.5, 8.5, 9 and 8, another 9 in there. So really good scores for Grace Campbell. So a chance to rocket herself up the overall leaderboard. Still another 4 dives to come. It'll be Lily Reid now from Wellington High School.
Not
a high degree of difficulty, which makes the execution even more important.
And she's done a pretty good job of the execution. Worth noting as well, the judges just judged the dive in front of them. So regardless of the difficulty, they will mark it purely on its execution.
The difficulty just comes into the equation afterwards.
Based on the degree of difficulty, exactly. And so Lily there just got to jump a bit higher, but entry and tuck position was nice. So you just see here she jumps a little bit backwards instead of upwards, but everything else was pretty clean.
So Theo Smith, really, really good through his first 2 dives. Can he back it up with a 3rd consecutive high point scoring dive? Another good consistent performance from Smith.
Yeah, he's so strong, isn't he? He jumps way up in the air, showing a beautiful pike position. Just didn't quite get vertical on the entry, which is why he didn't get the 9s that we saw earlier from Arno. Just lined up a little bit too early, and when I say line up, I mean grabbing his hands for the entry through the water.
Now Caleb Young.
So solid from Caleb, relatively simple dive for him. And judges would have deducted for his jump, so he jumped pretty low for him actually. He could jump a lot higher than that. And then just on the entry you would have noticed his hips were still bent, so he wasn't actually straight.
Now Arno Lee, it's not a case he's going to win the competition at 17 and over, and he has been just a little bit out of practice because he's had a bit of a break after the Commonwealth Games, and I think that was probably a demonstration of that on the entry, and he knows it too by his own standards. He'll be pretty disappointed with that.
Yeah, you can see his little smile there. He's just over-rotated, so he's kicked too late, and when I say kick, he's coming out of the tuck position there, kicking his legs, and he's just done it too late, so he's over-rotated.
Now Kia Reid from Rongotai College. Yep. Gains a slight under-rotation then on entry.
Yeah.
Quite get that vertical right.
Yeah, he sort of just dropped his legs, didn't he? He didn't quite get them to come over with him.
Again, as they get older, sort of mature more physically, core strength does come, and it makes it a lot easier to make those corrections.
That's right, and there is so much strength involved in making such minor adjustments in the air and things.
Go back to our leader amongst the girls, Emily Judkins. Another good dive from Emily, a little heavy on the landing.
Yeah, she's pretty consistent, Amelia, and again, that's a simple dive, but she's done it well. Beautiful pike, nice entry, slightly over a vertical, sort of at that.
And you could just hear that on the water too, couldn't you? Just that slight slapping noise. Another look here.
Yeah, and that's solid from Hannah as well. Again, slightly over a vertical. I like your explanation of the 11 and 1 o'clock versus the 12 o'clock. If you can imagine, they are the arm on the clock, but everything else was clean. Not much splash, which the judges will reward for.
So Grace Campbell from Westlake Girls High School, now high degree of difficulty here at 2.4. Can she pull this off and start to put pressure on her fellow clubmate?
Almost from Grace. It was good in the air. She just didn't quite get enough rotation. Judges will be rewarding for her form in the air and that nice twisting position.
Well, she'll get the 6.5 scores across all three judges, but because of the high degree of difficulty, she will be rewarded for that.
That's right. So we'll still see a relatively high total score.
Now we've just seen Lily Reid go off too. Let's have a look at Lily Reid here.
Yeah, and that's actually good from Lily. So again, slightly over-rotated, but I did like her form in the air. Nice tuck position. We've seen tuck positions, and we've also seen pike positions. So tuckers with bent legs and a pikers with straight legs. Theo's doing a pike in this dive here, inward 1.5.
Yeah, let's see if he can. Let's see, have a look at that entry. Let's see if he can get that vertical right on entry.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Not perfect, but solid. It was nice in the air. Talking about that pike position, he nailed that, but just, yeah, slightly over a vertical.
Slightly towards the 11 o'clock rather than the 12 o'clock, but just at the last moment, wasn't it? There's a lot to like about it.
Good pike, good Karapico.
And now Caleb Young. You sort of feel he's not too far away from putting one together. Was that the dive? A little heavy on entry.
Yeah, so that's a case where he actually was vertical on that entry. He was on the 12 o'clock, but he obviously just didn't grab his hands quite right, so he did kick up some splash. The divers get taught to grab their hands in a very specific way, and as they go through the water, there's a lot of technique.
I want to emphasise too, we'll just watch Arno Lee here, maybe for those watching it for the first time. So many different components they need to be thinking about. So Lee, he'll be wanting to put a better dive in than his previous round. 3.1 is a really, really high degree of difficulty. And does he pull it off? Not bad for a guy who's been out of the pool for a long time.
Yeah, and that's the hardest dive we've seen in the whole competition, all events. 3.1, certainly not easy.
So just for people at home, you've heard Liam Stone talk about having to make sure you got your hand position right on entry, but you've also got to make sure your feet are flexed in the right direction. There's so many different components. A little bit of theatre in terms of how your poise is at the start of the dive. And Kia Reid, again, just not quite, just that over-rotation. More towards 1 o'clock rather than 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right. Just kicked a little bit low. So I was talking about spots earlier. You've got your sort of your spot on the roof or on the wall where you kick your feet to, and probably just missed her slightly. See there, just wanted to kick a bit more to the ceiling.
Yeah, he didn't quite kick out enough, did he? But that again, a strength thing in time. And so Amelia Judkins leading this girls' competition. Now, better.
Yeah,
nice.
Nice from Amelia. She's very powerful. You can see her little laugh there, so close, almost. She knows she can do it better than that, but you see off the platform she's going way up in the air. Good tuck position, good kick, but just missed the entry.
It's almost a bit like picking lotto numbers, isn't it? You've got to get 7 to get it 100% right, and most people are sort of getting 5 and going, damn, next time I was one number short of 6 and 7.
That's right, yeah.
Nope, just loses control. Hannah Black.
Oh, so
nice entry, though.
Beautiful dive. So, yeah, as you say, great entry, great pike. The handstand was nice, however, it wasn't held for long enough. So the judges, that's why she's getting the lower marks, 5.5, 6 instead of the 7s and 8s, because the diver must show that they have control of the handstand, and if they don't do that, it's to the judge's discretion.
Now, rumour has it, Liam, you're going to go and give us a demonstration a little bit later. You've been talking a good game.
Yeah, that's
Grace Campbell now. Oh, I love the athleticism. Grace Campbell, Westlake Girls High School. Wait for the judges. 2.4 degree of difficulty, so high degree. Should be rewarded too with 7 and 2 6.5.
Yeah, and as you said, that high degree of difficulty means her total score will be relatively high.
So what makes this a high degree of difficulty? Is it the running start?
It's well, the 2.5 somersaults. So we saw she did 2.5 somersaults, and we've seen a lot of 1.5 somersaults. So obviously 2 is harder than 1.
Now Lily Reid. Lily, another one that just couldn't hold it, but gets herself out of jail to a degree.
Yeah, so a nice entry, just that handstand, and it is not easy to do, as you say. It's easy for us to sit here and critique and that. But
you imagine all eyes being on you. This is not a team sport where if you're having a bad day you can hide. This is for everybody to see. And I'd imagine that is probably one of the barriers for a lot of people wanting to compete. But what I've noticed with this community, everybody's really supportive.
Yes.
Everybody's really close. No one's judging you. They just admire you for getting up there and having a go. And it's great to see. Theo Smith, Otago Boys High School. 10 metre. Another higher degree of difficulty. And good, nice and relaxed too. He looks
confident, comfortable up there, doesn't he?
He looked. You talked earlier about, the judges, and it is, and it is subjective, but looking relaxed. And we learned in golf, having those soft hands.
Yep.
And he did look very effortless there, didn't he?
Yeah, and it does.
Slightly lost it on the entry, just slightly went one way. But
yeah, no, that's right. And it does make an impact. The judge, you would have heard that whistle go just then. The judge is now taking everything into consideration, including their starting position. So Caleb, he's looking confident here.
Yeah. So you've got to sell it.
That's right.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, nice. Oh, he did it slightly better in training, didn't he?
He did. We saw him in training. That's what we talk about. There's no pressure in training, is there?
Yeah.
Suddenly the bright lights, the television cameras go on you. You've got Liam Stone sitting up here critiquing you, and you can fall apart a little. I'm not going to blame you, Liam, but...
Yeah. Commentator's curse. No, but look, powerful off the board. Great pike position. Comes out. It's nice and easy. Just didn't get the entry. And you've only got one chance in competition, unfortunately.
And so Arno Lee, our leader. Another high degree of difficulty, didn't quite yet, just under rotation there.
Just
coming in on that sort of 11 o'clock, almost heading towards 10 o'clock on the entry.
That's right, and so back 2.5 somersaults, so there's a lot going on. He's so powerful, you'll see his massive jump here, way up in the air, good tuck position. He just kicks out early. So when I say kick out, he sort of kicks his legs from the tuck position.
Now let's have a look at Kia Reid. Can he hold this? Because if he can't, no, another one that loses it, but pulls it together. Pulls it together on the dive itself.
The handstand is so difficult, and if you don't hold it, unfortunately, you won't get, or you will get deducted from the judges.
He's quite a tall young man too, isn't he? So once you start to lose it, you've got...
Saw his feet come
it's harder to pull it back too. And now Amelia Judkins, winner yesterday in the springboard, 2.4 degree of difficulty. Another good dive from her. Have a look at it side on first.
Yeah, nice from Amelia. 2.5 somersaults, so a relatively high degree of difficulty. So the judges don't take that into consideration, but
just to give people we'll just have a look at the dive first here. So I'll just get you to talk us through this.
So 1, 2 somersaults and just slightly shy of vertical, so sort of that 11 o'clock where her feet were. But everything else was solid. She just ran out of room a little bit.
Okay, now we've talked about this before.
Yeah, so good from Hannah. This is This is what we call a pike roll or a front line-up. So it's actually a progression. We're practicing the entry of the dive, but the divers are allowed to compete in this event.
So is 1 the lowest degree of difficulty?
Yes.
And the highest degree of difficulty is?
Well, in theory, there's no limit. There's a calculation done, but the highest that has ever been performed is a 4.1.
Wow, I've seen 3.8 before.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've seen a 4.1. Grace Campbell from Westlake Girls High School, 2.7. So really, really high degree of difficulty. Arguably the highest we've seen amongst our female competitors. Does she pull it off? Good, good. A lot to like about it.
Yeah, and it's a big dive. You know, inward somersaults, 2.5 off 7.5 metre.
Yeah, well, she'll be rewarded for that.
It's a bit scary as well, somersaulting back towards that platform. Yeah. She went a little bit sideways and a little bit over a vertical, so that's what the judges are penalising for. But everything else was good effort from Grace. Here we see another one of those rolling.
Now, we often see this too because the divers just simply don't have the repertoire, based perhaps on their experience at the moment, or don't feel they've mastered some of the other dives well enough.
Yeah, and it's great that they're allowed to compete this because it allows for, you know, more development and more people to compete. Just over a vertical there, but it actually is a very key progression to learn how to enter from these higher boards. Just takes the jump out of the skill.
Now 2.4, good dive from Theo Smith.
Yeah, and we saw 2.5 pike earlier from Grace, wasn't it? And Theo's done a similar job there. He's really powerful, so he's gone way up in the air. So good jump here. Good pike position. He just came out too early, so he didn't quite finish the rotation.
So what, he under-rotated?
So he under-rotated, correct.
So again, so just feet starting to fall back towards the platform. And now Caleb Young, another one who I don't think is far away from putting a really good dive together. 2.3 degree of difficulty from a gymnastics background. Again, another slight under-rotation.
Yeah, he again just ran out of room or sort of came out of his pike position too early. So as you're somersaulting, you're in that pike position. The tighter you can get, the faster you'll spin. But as you come out, you're going to lose momentum in your rotation, and he just came out too early. So he didn't finish the rotations.
2.6 degree of difficulty. And that's better from Arno Lee, still slightly short on that entry.
Yeah, and he's got that little smile because he knows he's been out of the water a little bit and he's just getting back into it after the Commonwealth Games. 1, 2, a little bit short, a little bit splashy by his standards, but pretty good.
Now Kia Reid from Rongotai.
Almost from Kia. It was a nice high jump. He was good distance from the platform. He came out of his tuck and had a look at the water, which shows the judges it's really easy for him. You see there, looking for the water. But unfortunately, just lined up, not quite vertical, so at that sort of 11 o'clock that we've been talking about.
And now Theo Smith. He's an excitement machine. Oh, that's good from Smith this time. Slightly over rotation on entry, but
yeah,
a lot to like about it.
A lot to like. You know, he's got great form in the air. I really like his form. He's got nice pointed toes, straight legs. He's strong. Good twisting position. Just dropped his head there, and his legs followed.
Yeah, and we talk about that. You've got to get that weight right. The head is a heavy part of the body, and a bit like a seesaw. If you've got it below the 180 degrees, it'll bring the legs over, as we see a good dive here from Caleb. So these are the older ones, that's why you're seeing them have that extra dive. Just the towel in the water there, is that?
Yeah, there's also often a question asked. We call it a chamois, and it's sort of like a rubber towel, a bit like a chamois for the car, you know.
Yeah.
And the divers use it to dry off specifically their legs. And you can imagine if you're in a tuck position spinning and your legs are wet, you could slip. So if it's dry, it'll keep you grippy, keeps you warm as well.
So final jump for our men's leader.
Yeah, so not Arno's best day, but as we said, he's still getting back into it, and certainly still showing us how skilled he is.
And now Kia Reid, his final dive from Rongotai College, another school with a rich history across all sport. Reasonably high degree of difficulty at a 2. And finishes nicely for Kia. Really, really good last dive.
Great dive from Kia. Beautiful, nice and vertical on the entry. A good rip entry, so no splash, rip through the water. That's a great finish.
So that will bring this competition to a close, and we will bring you those results shortly. We'll bring you the prize giving as well, the medal presentation, who will be the best divers New Zealand secondary schools level in 2022. Hope you are enjoying the coverage. Special thanks to Whakata Māori for their coverage. We'll take a wee break and we'll come back with more from West Wave in Waitakere.
This isn't about printing. It's about better results with over 90 offices right across the country in residential, commercial and rural.
Whoops, running on empty? Enjoy a 6 cents per litre fuel discount at your local Caltex with Pumped every day. Ah, feels good, eh? Get it at any participating Caltex.
Ladies and gentlemen, this downtown apartment is the perfect first property. Our vendors have a new baby, they're moving on, so we're selling this today. Do I have any more bids? One bid here, thank you. I've got a bid there. We've got one more here. Yes, we have one more bid. We have a bid here. Do we have any more final bids?
This isn't about just selling one property. It's about getting a better result for our clients. So we can help them with their next property, the one after that, and the one after that.
No time to fluff around today? No worries. Just swing into Caltex and pay for fuel with Pay an App to speed on through. Ooh, yeah. Feels good. Use it at your local participating Caltex.
This isn't about cameras. It's about getting a better shot so you can get a better result. A great photo of your property is more important than a picture of our agent.
Whoops, running on empty? Enjoy a 6 cents per litre fuel discount at your